what's going on, Jam fam? So Lily came out last week and I finally got her and I pushed her up to 500 trophies. I know that's not like high-end trophies. That's just where I'm comfortable talking about brawlers, making videos about them and stuff like that. Anyway, yeah, so I pushed her and I just wanted to talk about today what I think she's good at, what I think she's bad at, and what I'd like to see changed about her in the future. So let's get into that. All right, so let's start the big stuff talking about what Lily actually does really well. And the first thing I want to talk about is Lily's damage potential. Lily can deal an insane amount of damage. Her normal attack does 2,400 damage, which is a very nice number, especially for like a melee brawler. You'd expect it to be like 1,800 or 2,000. She does 2,400 damage, which is pretty sizable in my opinion. But her real bread and butter comes from the 2-hit combo of her super and her next main attack. Now, if you run her spiky star power, then this combo is going to do 5,600 damage, which is an insane amount of burst damage that comes out extremely quickly. Now, I think this 2-hit combo is the most important thing to think about when you're playing Lily. You really want to focus on making sure you land your super and the follow-up attack because it's so good at taking out so many brawlers. There are a lot of brawlers that just cannot take that 2-hit combo. Most of your snipers, most of your throwers, and even tanks, if they're chipped down quite a bit, you can jump on them and finish them off. And it's important to note that since Lily only has 1 ammo, you really need to finish off your kills when you land on people, so you really shouldn't be diving in unless this 2-hit combo is actually going to finish off an opponent. But all that being said, I do think Lily is very good at dealing a high burst amount of damage, and I want to give her kudos for that, so that's why we're talking about it here. All right, the next thing I want to talk about is Lily's movement speed. And I know this is probably something that most people don't really think about because it just makes sense that an assassin has a very fast movement speed, but it is something that I do feel like Brawl Stars is very fickle about. There's not a lot of brawlers that actually have very fast movement speed, so I do want to talk about it here. All right, so like I said, I do think Brawl Stars is a little fickle with the way they hand out very fast movement speed. Like, for example, there's a lot of melee tank brawlers like Rosa, for example, that don't have very fast movement speed, and they do struggle a little bit because of it. And then honestly, if they had given Lily a fast movement speed, I probably wouldn't have been shocked at all. But thankfully, they did give her very fast movement speed, which helps her quite a bit. And you compare that with her second star power, which, for the record, I do not think is nearly as good as Spiky. But if you really want to buff your movement speed a little bit more, you can run that second star power. Anyway, if you want, you compare these two things together to be extremely fast, and it helps you be able to dodge shots and get on top of people more quickly when you don't have your super, which is one thing that Lily does struggle with. I'll talk about that a little bit towards the end, but it is one thing she struggles with is closing gaps on people because she has such a short range and she really doesn't have too much mobility in her kit outside of her super. So having a fast movement speed, being able to dodge attacks, and being able to close distances when you don't have your super, if you mess up or whatever, is very helpful for her. So I do like that they gave her this fast movement speed. Now, the last thing I really liked about Lily and her kit was the amount of HP she has. Now, she's not the most tanky assassin when you consider Buzz, but she does have more HP than most other assassins, so it is noteworthy. Now, Lily's base HP is 8,400, which, like I said, is already higher than most other assassins, but if you want to, you can pair that with the shield gear, and that'll give you over effectively 9,000 HP, which is actually really nuts when you consider that she has the Vanish gadget, which allows her to go into the Shadow Realm. So what you have is a brawler that has 9,000 HP that can jump on people, secure a kill, and then use Vanish to get out of there before they get killed themselves, which, when you play it like that, is extremely powerful. So yeah, like I said, Lily does have a decent amount of stuff going for her. Like I said, she's able to do an insane amount of burst damage. She can pick off a lot of brawlers very easily when you play her right if you focus on the 2-hit combo. Her very fast movement speed helps her a lot considering that there's not a ton of mobility in her kit, so I do like that they gave her very fast movement speed. And she has a lot of HP for an assassin brawler, especially if you consider running the shield gear like I mentioned. So all of that combined makes it so that she is a very solid brawler, but I do think she has a couple of limitations that really hold her back from being the best brawler in the entire game right now. So I do want to talk about those really quick. All right, so the first biggest issue I had with Lily is going to be a bit of a combo. It's going to be her attack range and her ammo. Now, I do think these are obviously balancing choices because you have a brawler that can do a ton of damage each attack and she can jump right on top of people. So I do think it was a balancing choice to give her 1 ammo and basically no range. But like I said, I do think these are huge issues for her and it does make her a little bit clunky to play at times. Now, Lily is a melee brawler with some of the shortest range in the entire game, and that in itself is not the worst thing in the world, but because they only gave her 1 ammo, there are a lot of problems that start to arise. Because of the short range and only 1 ammo, if you jump on people and you don't end up securing the kill, then you will struggle to end up consistently doing damage, and you're probably going to get yourself killed because people are going to start to run away from you, and because you have no range, you can't really do damage to them efficiently. And this is why I said it's extremely important to notice how much HP a brawler has before you use your super on them, because if you don't finish a kill within that first hit, they're probably going to get away and you've just wasted your super. Now, all this being said, I do think that if they gave her a little extra range or an extra ammo, then this wouldn't be that big of a deal because you would be able to 2-attack people or be able to chase them down if they started to run away. But I don't actually think they're ever going to make this change. I think they like the attack mechanic of her being a melee brawler with only 1 ammo, because we don't really have that outside of anywhere else. Yes, we do have brawlers that only have 1 ammo, but they are range. And I also think it was a conscious decision to be a balancing choice around this so that she can do more damage with 1 shot instead of having to lower her damage and give her more ammo. So while I don't like that she has extremely short range and only 1 ammo, I don't think they're going to change it. So let's move on to the next thing I really think needs to be addressed about Lily. And that's going to be her Supercharge. And this is going to be the biggest thing I noticed about Lily while I was pushing her. Like I said earlier when I was talking about her movement speed, Lily will struggle at times to get near brawlers to do damage to them because she doesn't have a lot of mobility in her kit outside of her super, and she has no range. So even if you do start to get a little bit close, they can easily just run away from you and take advantage of their range. And because I know people are going to bring it up, yes, Vanish can get you closer to people, so that is a form of mobility. I'm not denying that, but I do think Vanish is a little bit better at just repositioning you and getting you into a position to surprise people when they walk by, rather than just getting you into people's faces. If you use Vanish to just close the distance on people, not only do you lose sight of them when you go into the Shadow Realm, but they're also going to try to group up with their teammates so that the teammate and them can just focus fire you when you come out of the Shadow Realm. This happens a lot in early game, and that's when you need your super the most. So a lot of the time, the early game of Lily is normally you just picking a spot that is a decent spot to just use your supercharging trait and just sitting like a duck, because like you really can't do much until you get your super. So yeah, you just go through the early game trying to get in position to charge your super via your trait, and maybe somebody walks close to you and you can attack them, but for the most part, you're just going to be a sitting duck waiting for your super. And then when you finally do get your super, you land it on somebody, you do the 1 attack, you only get half of your charge back, so you do have to repeat the dance a little bit. And then, God forbid, you miss your super, because when that does happen, you have to restart this entire dance all over again from scratch, and that can be extremely annoying in the middle of a match. So because Lily's really only effective when she has her super, and it can be extremely annoying to charge her super early on and in the middle of the match if you do waste it, it does lead to Lily being a bit of a frustrating brawler depending on the matchups. So honestly, if Lily was able to charge her super through her trait a little faster, or if she was able to recharge more of her super off of her super and 1 attack combo, then she would be a lot better. And this is honestly the change that I could totally see them making. And that's because it wouldn't fundamentally change how the brawler works like it would if you were to change like the number of ammo or the range or anything like that of the brawler. It would just change how effective she is at doing her job, which is securing kills and being able to deal a decent amount of damage. But right now, like I said, Lily does take a little while to charge her super, and for some people that's going to be a deal breaker because she's basically useless when she doesn't have her super, a lot like Edgar. So those are my thoughts on Lily right now. She's a very fun brawler, and she can be very punishing to your enemies when they're low HP or not paying attention to where they are on a map, but she can also be a very frustrating brawler for you to play because of her low range and her reliance on her super, which can be a pain in the ass to charge sometimes. But let me know what you think about Lily down in the comments. What's your experience with her? And let me know if I'm way off base with any of these things that I said in this video. Anyway, that's going to do it for this one. I want to thank you guys for watching. If you're new, consider dropping a sub, and if you enjoyed the video, make sure you leave a like on it as well. But that's going to do it for this one. I want to thank you guys for watching, and I'll catch you guys in the next one. Peace.